So I hiked out through the snow out to the river, one of my favorite little rivers nearby home, and I thought it would be nice to share in a moment. You can't really see very much, can you? Somebody said these are my Blair Witch videos, but I think it's kind of a shame to me that you can watch a movie or a series of movies that freak you out. You knew it was going to freak you out, and then it creates a distaste in your mind for something that you want, something that you need. I need to be out here by this river right now on Friday evening after a long week. I think a lot of people had a long week. It's a hard time, man. This is challenging. This is humanity living in a way that is not what we expected, and it's not as much of what we got used to having, right? So we're learning to live without the habits, the comfortable habits. And I think that's great in a lot of ways. People can say, well, you're just, it's a pig with lipstick, making something that tastes bad, you put chocolate on it. No. I think that it's acceptance. When we accept that the world's in a different state of mind in terms of freedom, in terms of allowance of normality, you kind of let that in and go, okay, well, that's what it is. I've been complaining about it. Maybe some people are celebrating that we're working together to try to solve a problem. And it's a flip side. It's a positive interpretation. And another positive interpretation of what we have to accept, because it is the fact that the world is a little quieter. It's a little slower. And I deeply believe that we needed it. We needed to slow down. And I'll bet you know it too, right? We needed to slow down and prioritize. Instead of being a hamster running in a wheel, can you see him? The little wheel's going and going and going, and the wheel isn't going anywhere. Is it? Not really. Not in the ways that matter. And we've been prioritizing things that when we sit in silence by a river, maybe, we kind of step back from all those things that we thought were so important and we couldn't live without them. All of these attainments, all of these things that we use as our old ways of evaluating our worthiness. How much money we made, how successful we were in creating abundance for our families. There is value in that, of course. That's survival. But up above basic survival stuff, higher up on Maslow's pyramid, there's the things that you'll look back on when you're old and looking in a different way back towards your life, and you realize there isn't anything ahead, right? Because it's coming to an end. That's what we're getting a little bit of right now, isn't it? We're getting a little bit of a wake up to the fact that we've been wild birds locked in a cage that we chose to close the door and pretend we couldn't get out. But we can get out. We can just choose to get the right clothes on, get outside, listen to the birds, maybe you go out in the day, feel that sunshine on your face, breathe that beautiful sweet air, go far enough away that you can justifiably take off any face covering that you've got, unless it's unless it's really cold out. I got my buff. Because there's no reason for it out here. There's absolutely no reason. There's no moral obligation, and therefore, please take it off and breathe. You know, I'm seeing the steam. I guess you can't quite see it in the camera, but I can see the steam of my breath. Feel the coldness of the rock underneath my butt. Glad I'm wearing some warm pants and long underwear. Glad that I have them. All right? It feels to me that when you simplify your life into, what did I bring on this hike? Simple. And I think about those things that I brought that changed the way things go here. How long I can stay out here, for instance. I'm thankful for them. I'm thankful for the coat and the hat. I'm thankful for things that bring true meaning, true value. I'm thankful for rechargeable headlamps so I don't have to change my batteries. I found that recently on the internet. That was a worthwhile purchase. That was valuable. And when I appreciate those things, right? When I ponder it a little deeper and a little longer, and stay in that state of appreciation, a state of thankfulness that not just that I have what I have, but what I'm experiencing because I have it is step up, right? I'm glad that I get to be out here in the forest, that I was able to ask Laura if she can keep an eye on the boys for a while and let me get my time. She does it too. She's been getting out in her kayak 3 times in the past 2 weeks or something like that. Even though it's cold, she gets out there and paddles, sometimes alone. Good for her. And I wonder what the world would look like if people just decided to do this more. Whatever you think is important, whatever battles you're waging in the name of your personal morality, I urge you to balance it, please. Balance it with the things that give back and give opportunity and time to hold that space so that you can be a simple person out in nature. You can be tuned in to the sights and sounds and smells of the outdoors. Because, I smell cookies when we bake indoors. There's things that are nice to experience indoors. I play guitar better in the winter when I'm indoors. It's because my hands aren't cold. So there's things to appreciate about, snuggling down and all that, being under your blanket, maybe watching a movie that you like. Granted, we can certainly pay better attention to what we're taking in and what it causes within us, because it all echoes, right? If you're watching the echoes of feeling that you don't want to be feeling often, then you might want to reconsider your choices. But even so, after you shift out of that rest mode and then back into your fight mode with your warrior attitude of getting the job done, good for you, because there's things that need to get done that are hard work. Please don't forget to give back to yourself. This time of self-love, that's maybe what this year will look like, 2020, when we look back and we decide, actually, it wasn't all bad. That we had the opportunity to reevaluate the things that matter and start that ongoing process that we weren't doing before. Because that's going to take us years to figure out. Maybe we want to move. Maybe we want to change what we're doing for a living. Maybe we want to fix our relationships by looking at ourselves, by unassigning blame on anything outside of yourself, and look in how that thing that you're seeing, that you're waging war against, that you're vilifying and blaming as the cause of your suffering, where is it reflected in you? And maybe there's a way in which what's within us reflects outward and perpetuates. Just a thought. Maybe it's time to look inside to solve our problems. Maybe that's what is going on here, is we're being given the opportunity to look at all the things that we thought were ugly out in the world and go, how's it in here? And how can I release it? How can I let it go by the act of forgiveness and release and surrender of old ways, old ideas, things that were archaically echoing, an artifact of another time, another world. We're in a new world now that is going to be meaning-based, isn't it? Because you let people sit long enough with themselves, and they finally get enough of the Netflix. I've gotten to the end of the internet. And you start to scribble in a notebook instead. Maybe you meditate instead. Maybe you go walk in nature instead. And you write down your insights. Because man, oh man, every person I've met, the longer you talk to them, right, you realize they're deeper than they look. That I didn't know them in the way that I thought that I did. And that's true of you too. So when you go deeper into you, all the answers that you wanted to relieve all the suffering that you didn't think you could get rid of, that's possible now. Not just possible, it's inevitable as long as you commit to the path of awakening, the path of waking up to your mind and healing your mind. And then watch the magic happen all around you. Watch it all start to get lighter because you took ownership of your own mind. And you realize that it was the voice of the ego mind, the lower self you could call it, the cellular body that's trying to stay alive, that's selfishly fighting in fear, hiding in fear, wanting to be alone, wanting to separate. That's all it is. It's just the ego. And it's not going away. Right? I was trained in the Buddhist tradition, vilifying the ego, and then I realized my ego isn't going to go away as long as I'm on the earth, because my ego is the voice of my cells fighting to stay alive. So what else is there? That's what shows up when we silence our mind and we let go of the ego's mind, its thoughts, its perspective, its addictions, its ways of filtering out the light, filtering out the wisdom. You keep letting it go, and sooner or later, you're going to hear it. You're going to hear your highest wisdom. And as a result of continuing to reach for it and continuing to put down the things that were your old ways of hiding from your own light, your own brilliance, your own passion, your own love, then that becomes who you are. And the old ego is just something that is the story of the way things used to be. God bless me, my old self, I was so small. And if we all sort of look at that and go, yeah, I'm just letting it go. I'm just letting it go. It's just the way it was. Life before the introduction of awareness of the higher self. Bye. Right? Let it go. So that's what I'm pondering here in this beautiful place. Try to move the camera and the light around so you can see where it is. Beautiful rocks and beautiful river. And there's, I'm going to take you guys to a place. It's going to be kind of hard to finagle this, but I will do it. This is one of my power places that I like to go to. I'm going to show you a place that I've termed Little Pumapunku. It's a rocky kind of area. It's in the snow right now, obviously. And just up here, stepping over the rabbit tracks. Look at that. So beautiful. amazing. I love this place. Beautiful crystalline rock. It's a little hard to see how big this thing is, but there's this magnificent, it's a monolith and then another one there. There's tons of them here. And I just sort of stumbled upon it hiking around in the woods. Don't know how they got here, don't know the story, but they are amazing. And something worth sharing. Have a wonderful evening, everybody. Enjoy moving into our winter solstice on the 21st. It's a great day to sit and meditate. Get outside. Please get outside. Get some light in you. It's a big time. It's a pivot point, right? Let's pivot in the right direction.